to the all-new ZWO AM5 strain wave mount. Whoa! So in case you haven't heard about this thing, this is the new ZWO AM5 strain wave mount. It's been out for a few months now. I don't remember the exact release date, but I bought this thing back in February of this year, 2023, and it's now July 2023, and I've been using it a few months, and I'm going to go over some tips and tricks that I've learned in the past few months using it, and just the basic setup. And I'm also going to do some comparisons to my previous mount, the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro. I'm going to do some price comparisons, some weight comparisons, some payload capacity, stuff like that. So yeah, let's get to it. I wouldn't technically call this an impulse buy. I mean, it kind of was. It was kind of a freak out buy. Back in February, there were rumors that COVID was starting to spike again in China, and that they may shut like the shipping down or the factories down and stuff. And they had these on stock, and they also had this pure extension in stock. And I kind of freaked out. It was like, oh man, if I don't get it now, who knows? It might be next year before they, come back in stock. But that didn't pan out, and these things have been in stock ever since. But for one item, this is by far the biggest ticket price I've paid for this mount head and the tripod and the peer extension. It's not cheap. It's a pricey purchase for me, but it's been worth it. So I'm just going to go over a few things in case you haven't heard about this this mount. So I bought this, and it came in 3 separate boxes. The mount head comes in a box with a case, and the peer extension came in a separate box, and the tripod came in a separate box. So as of right now, today, I checked the prices, and just the mount head is $19.99. So just the head is $2,000 for the AM5. They announced the AM3. I believe it's $14.99. Yeah, it's $1,500 for just the AM3. So it's a little bit cheaper. The payload's a little less, but if it's as good as the AM5, that's going to be a good buy as well. You could save a few $100s going that route. This peer extension was or is currently $169, and then the ZWO TC40 carbon fiber tripod is $298. So altogether, you're looking at so you can get just the tripod and the head. It's going to be $2,300. It's pretty expensive, but plus the peer extension, another $169. So you're looking at about almost $2,500 for this setup right here. So that's the price of this currently. And then the AM3 with the tripod is going to be a few $100s less. I think around $17.99 or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I didn't write that down. So the ZWO AM5 head is 12 pounds. I'll read the kilograms as well. It's 5.5 kilograms. In freedom numbers, that's 12 pounds. So the payload capacity for this thing is 28 pounds without a counterweight. That's 13 kilograms, 28 pounds without a counterweight. You can set up on here and be fine. And with the counterweight attached, the payload capacity is 44 pounds, so it's the same as the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro. That's 20 kilograms with the counterweight, 44 pounds, 20 kilograms. So for the weight of this thing, it's so transportable. It's awesome for that. That was probably my biggest reason for getting it. And I'm going to get to the comparison between the EQ6 and this next, but uh, that was probably my biggest factor. Was it's such a pain for me to transport that Skywatcher EQ6R Pro, and I have to set up and tear down each imaging session. So it was really it's a lot of work and time consuming. This is so much faster. This has shaved off so much time of my setup and tear down. It was worth the price. So that is the price comparisons. I just looked up to see what the Skywatcher is going for, and currently on Amazon and other Astro websites, the EQ6R Pro is $2,025, and that comes with the tripod, 2 counterweights, the mount head, and the hand controller. Now, if you're going to run a heavy rig on this, you're going to need counterweight. You're going to need a counterweight bar. So this isn't all the accessories. And you don't have to have this pier extension. I bought it because I have a longer refractor, an Explorer Scientific 102. And it's pretty long, and I was scared that if I didn't have this pier extension, it would catch the legs. So that's the basic overview of the specs on this thing. And now I'm going to get to setting it up. When I received my packages in the mail, it was 3 boxes. The pier extension came in 1 box, the tripod came in another box, and the mount head came in the 3rd box. And it comes with this nice little case. Just going to open this up here. And your mount head's going to come in here. And it comes with this periodic error chart graph. They do a test on every mount before they run it out. Now, I've seen people with much better numbers than mine, but I'm happy with my performance. I have a 20.3/4.9 arc seconds, and I've seen better numbers, but like I said, it's working fine for me. This is the hand controller. I have not used, but I think you have to plug this into the mount head if you want to do updates, firmware updates and stuff. I have not yet used this. Just like my EQ6R Pro, I never used the hand controller. I run this thing with the ASI Air. This is the supplied cable for the hand controller, and you have some other accessories that I just ended up throwing in this case because I haven't used. I'll just stick this back in here. So you'll have a couple of let me just turn this around. So you'll have a couple of Allen keys for assembly. This one's got a little weird head on it, but I just keep these. It's got a little carry spot right there. It's got 4. I don't know why it has 4. I only have 2 in here, but there's some Allen keys there. The tripod is going to come with this bag right here. There are some spikes that you can put on the feet right here, and I have not used these yet. It's been sturdy enough with the feet that are on it, but that is a nice touch there. I've kind of mixed all these parts together I just threw them in this bag and threw them in the case. But this is the instruction manual for the pier extension. Just going to throw that in there. And then I have another bag with another Allen key and a couple of screws. And I think that goes with the pier extension as well. So, and the ZWO PE200, I think it's called. It doesn't have the name on here. I don't see it anyways. It comes with this base that mounts onto the TC40, the tripod you can buy, and it works so well. I had to, I think that's what these extra screws are for. There's 2 more screws, I guess, in case you lose one. But I mounted this bracket on, but the pier extension also comes with this mounting bracket here, and you can use it with the Skywatcher mounts, I believe, Celestron, Skywatcher mounts, certain mounts, but you may need an adapter. I haven't tried it. This is the adapter that comes with the mount in the tripod that you attach to your lock right here. But that does fit, so I don't think you would need to buy. That extension. But I did see somebody say that they needed to buy a, I believe it was an M8 to M12 or something like that. But I think that's what this is right here. So if you weren't going to get the tripod and you already had an AQ6R, you could well, like I said, I don't remember if this came with the pier extension or it had to come with just a tripod. So I'm thinking this came with the tripod, but I know for sure this came with the pier extension, and it allows you to use different tripods. I'm going to throw that back in there. And I haven't used this case to transport yet, but it is a nice case. Very protective. The foam is very, very hard. So, yeah, that's all my spare parts. I just leave them in here. And once again, you will need to use the hand controller for firmware updates, but I have not yet used this thing. I've been running it with ASI Air Plus. So I'm just going to tuck all this in here. And that's the case that the mount comes in. Oh, this is the manual for the tripod and the mount, and it's it's a basic manual. So I'm going to throw this in here as well for safekeeping. And that's the case. So now I'm going to just go over the general assembly. I'll do my quick thoughts on this tripod. It's super light, and it comes with this sandbag tray that you can attach with Velcro. So I have that attached to put counterweights in when I'm need more stability when I'm running my big scope, my heavy scope. This thing alone is $300, and is it worth $300? Not really to me. I don't see, I don't see this tripod justifying $300, but it is carbon fiber, so I guess the material is more expensive. The thing is, it just works so easily. So you get your tripod out of the box. You'll attach your little sandbag here, and then once you install this base plate on your AM5 on the bottom here, it just sits in, and then there's a little knob right here, and you just twist that knob and you're set up. That's it. You're set up. Simple as that. Now that's if you don't have the PE200. I bought this for more clearance, and it also raises everything up. I think it's 7.9 inches, so it raises it up a little bit, so I'm not having to stoop over when I'm outside. But the tripod, for the ease of setup, I guess that justifies the price. Um, that's really the one of my nitpicks is, and I'm going to compare this stuff here in a few minutes. But the the base of this tripod, one of the pros is I can carry this mount out fully assembled out my front door, no problem. It's like between 15 and 20 pounds probably with everything. Um, with my EQ6, I can't do that. The tripod legs are extended out so far. I have to play Tesla. Tesla? No. With my EQ6R, the tripod legs are so far out, the base is so wide, I have to take the head off and then take the stability brace underneath, loosen that, and then fold the tripod legs in and take it out the door because it won't fit. It's like playing Tetris, you know. Do 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 do. I'll go over this real quick. The I have had the tripod legs. This part gets tight, and it's kind of hard. Sometimes it's like it, especially if it's humid outside, it'll want to stick. So I don't over tighten these anymore. I just tighten them just enough. But you basically just turn this, and then it comes out, and then I tighten it up just enough to where it's not going to go anywhere. I want to crank it down, and I almost got blisters on my hand one night trying to loosen this thing. So the price of the tripod, like I said, $300. It's not that big of a tripod. It is super lightweight, so that's a plus. You have the sandbag right here that you attach to the legs and you can add your battery or a counterweight or something for more stability. But uh, it's all integrated so well. You got this one screw here on the side, and you just tighten everything down. So I don't carry it out with the legs extended. I wait till I get outside to extend them, but I would probably have trouble getting through my door with the legs fully extended. But the legs on my EQ6 aren't. They're completely in. They're in. They're not extended out at all, and I can't fit through my front door with that thing. So the plus goes to the ZWO TC40. So I'm gonna just push these back in. And that is that. So now I'll just go over setting up with the pier extension in case you grab one of these. They have two versions of this. The first version is not a solid piece like this. It's just kind of columns or something. I like this one because it has this little pass through, so you could run cables and stuff through there, or use it as a, I don't know, whatever. Put your weed in there. I don't care. But yeah, that's cool. It has this pass through. So with the TC40 attachment that comes with it, this just pops in. So it's just a circular piece here. This just pops in. And then once again, this little screw on the side just tightens down, and that's it. It's on there. And the same goes for the head. I have this attachment on. It slides right in there. And then it has, on the pier extension, you have 3 of these tightening screws. Tighten that down, tighten this one down, and tighten this 3rd one down. And that's it. That's how I leave this thing. That's how I transport it outside. It's ready to go, except for the spreader. And I'm going to install that. So let's see here. Yeah. So the smaller end, or the longer of the 2, is going to go up into the pier extension. And this is the spreader. So I'm just going to put it up here. Let's see here. Well, thought it was. Okay, so this thing is going to go up with the little angled ends pointing up. Seemed like it would go that way, but that's how it goes. So we're just going to seat that right there above this foam padding. And then, so you have 3 parts right here. You have the tightening screw on the bottom. You have the spreader, and then the screw, the bolt. So I'm going to attach the bolt to the bottom of the pier extension. And then I'm going to put the spreader, and that's going to go just above the foam padding here, like I said. And then we're going to take the locking screw and tighten that down. And that's it. There, nice and tight. And that's how I leave it. It's sitting in my living room, ready to go, ready to just pick up and take outside. So that's the basic setup with and without the pier extension. Make sure all my tightening little thingamajigs are nice and snug. And yeah, that's it. Now that I've gone over the setup of this thing, I'm just going to go over the all the screws and the thingamajigs and doohickeys and stuff like that. This right here is your altitude tight. You tighten these when you have your altitude set when you're polar lining, and then you loosen them when you want to adjust it. So you'll turn this one back towards you, and then the one on the other side here will go away from you. So they're opposite. So to loosen up, I'll do this. And I'm pretty close to my polar alignment from last time. But you have a latitude gauge right here. And there's a little screw right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that kind of tells you where you're at on here. And that's pretty close to mine. But to adjust your latitude, you would turn this thing here on the back. You can see that adjusts your latitude. That's how you adjust your latitude with this screw right here. And it's pretty good. Pretty smooth movements. I'm just going to set it right there. And then when you're polar aligning and you're dialed in on that, you just tighten these back up. It's locked into place. Now, this would be the azimuth knobs, and it's the same thing. You have these little screws right here on the side, which actually I have placed this on the pier extension, and what I'm going to have to do is loosen these tightening screws on the pier extension and make sure these are loosened, because I have this screw tightened in to where I can't get this one unloosened. So something that can happen is if you push these azimuth screws in too much, it can go against the tightening, the locking mechanism for your azimuth. So once again, these are opposite. To lock it in place, and I need to tighten this back down again. So I have to find a sweet spot with these knobs, the tightening knobs on the pier extension. And to adjust your azimuth, which is this direction, you have to loosen it. And when this knob is too far in, it was catching right there. So I couldn't get it out. It was in the loosened position, but I couldn't get it out. So everything's tight on my pier extension. This is now loose, and to tighten it, I would push it out like that, and that's in the locking position. And the same thing goes for this side. Loose is up front, and to tighten, pull it back. So they're going to be sticking out like that when they're tightened. So to adjust your azimuth, you would push that one forward and push this one back over here. And then now you can take these two screws right here, and that will adjust your azimuth on your mount. And I'm going to make sure I have these set at an equal distance so that doesn't catch. So these are set now at an equal distance, and this is not catching on that. I had to turn it one night pretty far because I can't see Polaris because of my trees. So I thought I was pretty spot on, but I wasn't. So I had to turn it pretty far so the screws got adjusted. So that's something you may want to take into consideration, is make sure these things are evenly spaced out, because this side was pretty far in and it was blocking the locking tab. So once you have your azimuth dialed in on your polar alignment, then you would flip that one out to tighten, and then flip this one back to tighten, and then you should be locked in on your polar alignment. So, and one more thing, you have two bubble levels on the back here, and these work pretty good, and they're easy to see for the most part, because I do my leveling before I set my scope up, so you can just look down and see. And I get those little bubbles inside the little circles, and usually it works pretty good. So kudos to ZWO for sticking those things where you can actually see them without having a neck like a giraffe. So that's the pole alignment tightening screws. So latitude here, azimuth here, your adjustment screws on the back. On the front, you have your USB connection. You have an auto guide connection, which I leave that covered. I run everything through my ASIR Plus. You have the hand controller port, and then you have a power port, your DC power port. It comes with this shoe attached on the side, and I've seen people attach their ASIR to the side. It can work, but I would not recommend attaching your ASIR anywhere on this thing. I attached it here one night, and I have to do an all sky polar alignment, so my mount has to slew all the way back facing south, and it actually caught the mount. So I took this shoe off, and there's two holes right here on the side of the saddle, and I mounted it there. And the same thing, it caught this knob or something with the ASIR. So I either would run the ASIR down to this tray, or I try to attach mine to my telescopes. So that's just one of my tips is, if you're doing a regular polar alignment, you may be okay attaching it here or here on the side of the saddle. But from my experience, I've had it connect or collide with the mount. I don't recommend it. So there's that. And then also on the side here, you have a power out, and I run a little DC cable, and that's how I power my ASIR from this port right here. And then the last button on the mount is the power button right here, right there. And there's a way to put this into azimuth mode. Is that what you call it? For like planetary or whatever. I don't know. There's you can do equatorial, and then whatever the other thing is. I don't know. Can't think right now. I'm having a brain fart. But I haven't messed with that. There are some adjustment screws in here on both sides, and to where you can set your mount in that different mode. But I just run it as an equatorial mount. And the last thing I'll talk about is the saddle. This is a good saddle. I did have problems one night. I tightened my Celestron Edge HD down, and I was trying to adjust it. I was trying to move it just a little bit so it was, be better balanced. And I could not get this knob right here to loosen. I got a wet rag and was twisting. I could not get it to turn. So I ended up having to get that hex head Allen wrench and loosen this right here, this bolt. And it started, it's working fine again. I had to take the little spring out and stuff. I don't know what caused that, but it hasn't done it since. But I do notice that this one is sitting out just a little bit more than this one. And I don't know what caused that, but when I go all the way in, ow, yeah, could be why. Ouchies. So apparently when I was cranking down on this thing and trying to get it loosened up, I had not stuck my finger in there before, and now I got a little boo-boo. Uh, I got a little boo-boo. Yeah, there's a little piece of metal off of that. A little metal shaving, and I was just touching it, and it jabbed me. So it's clear now. But yep, ever since then, that night, I don't know if it, what caused it to do that, but I haven't had that issue. It's been working fine. But that was something weird. We got that piece of metal out of there now, so that's good. But the saddle, I like it. It's a good saddle. You can easily fit your Vixen style into this smaller part right here. Of course, I'm standing right in the light. Let me get on this side. You can fit, like your smaller scopes in here, and then with my Edge HD, it has the bigger style dovetail, and it fits in this part right here. And once I get everything tightened down, it's snug. I don't feel it's going anywhere. So, yep, that's the basic setup of this thing, and this is how I leave it. It's set up, ready to transport outside, and I'm gonna have to get a band-aid for my finger. Now I wanted to do some size comparisons. I bought this Skywatcher Star Adventure GTI a few months before I bought this thing, and I really didn't need to purchase this thing, but then I saw the size of it and the payload capacity and the weight, and I was like, you only live once. So anyways, you can see um, with this counterweight on, these are actually about the same size. I mean, the same weight. And they're all, with this is the tripod I've been using with the GTI, and I carry it out. I carry both of these out fully assembled like this. And my setup is I've shaved it, several minutes off of it. I'm probably setting up 50% faster than I was with my EQ6R Pro. But it's amazing, this new technology and the strain wave mount. They're almost identical in size. And this thing holds 44 pounds with the counterweight, 28 without. And this thing only holds 11 pounds. And when this thing slews, it is so fast. I mean, it just whips around like nobody's business. And this Skywatcher, it's like grandma. Takes a little while to get there. But with that said, this mount head is only $640. At the time of this video, it's $640, $2,000. So, if you're looking at smaller rigs, I've been running my 135 millimeter and my William Optics Red Cat on this. It works great. I can get 5-minute exposures. I've had some issues with backlash. I've made some videos on that. I think I've fixed that for now. It will probably return, but so far, let's see. I got this in February, March, April, May, June. I've had this for 5 months, and the only issue I've had was with this this knob on the saddle. That's it. Everything else, it's been flawless. It's been working great. So I wanted to do this size comparison just to show. I have a bad back. And that EQ6 is not the easiest thing for me to move. I mean, I can do it, but I can't take it out fully assembled because the legs are so wide. So this was the answer to that. These two mounts right here. I can set up two mounts really fast, and then I'm back in my recliner imaging, and it's been great. So, yeah. Just wanted to show the size comparison between the ZWO AM5 and the Skywatcher Star Adventure GTI. One more thing I wanted to add. I learned that, so the Skywatcher EQ6R comes with this counterweight extension bar. So if you need, like if you're going to run like a real heavy scope, you can just put this on the bottom of your counterweight bar on the Skywatcher, and it extends it out. It doesn't have a toe screw, so I contacted Skywatcher, and they finally emailed me back, and they were like, I think it was going to be like $34 or $32 for something, $32 or something for a little screw to go on into this thing. So I was going to get the ZWO counterweight bar, but because I'd seen online that this thing actually fits. But if you notice right here, there's a little screw, and lo and behold, it's a toe saver screw. And lo and behold, it fits. So this is the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro extension bar, and it fits on the ZWO AM5. And this is what I've been using when I put my Celestron Edge HD 8 on here. Is I use the counterweights that came with the Skywatcher. I put one on here, and then I put one in the tray for stability. But yeah, if you happen to have an EQ6 or something, that is something I found out that works. But if I end up selling my EQ6, I'm going to have to let this thing go. I'll pick up the ZWO counterweight bar, which I think it's a different size. I don't think the EQ6, I don't think the Skywatcher counterweights fit on the ZWO bar. You have to take the little black tab out. But I think the iOptron counterweights do fit the ZWO bar. So I've just been using my Skywatcher counterweights with this bar. So this is the last comparison I wanted to make. This has been my handy dandy equatorial mount. I moved up from the SkyGuider Pro to this EQ6, and I love this mount. It's been great. The thing is heavy. Just this head is 38 pounds. I think it said the tripod is another 15 pounds or something like that. I don't think it's that heavy, but combined, it's pretty damn heavy. I can lift it. I can move it. The problem is the legs are so far and the extensions are pushed all the way in. So the legs are so wide that I cannot fit through my front door without playing Tetris. The biggest issue is the setup with the EQ6 takes me much more time than with this, and I'm going to go into another pro about this thing. I could carry this thing out, but it's heavy. It's a heavy beast. Now I have this pole master on here. I didn't like having to get on my knees to polar line, so I bought this thing, and then I just use my laptop to polar line. It's great, but this AM5 does not have a polar scope. So if you're not using some kind of software to polar line, that's going to be a weird transition because this thing's got a polar scope. This one doesn't. But I use the ASI Air Plus to polar line. Usually I use the all sky method, which is polar line facing south. I have another video on that. But with the EQ6, I have to loosen the spreader. I have to take the head off. I have to fold the legs up, carry out the legs, level the legs, then come back in, get the head, put it on, come back, grab the counterweights. It's time consuming, and there were several clear nights, where I was like, man, I don't feel like doing that. I mean, it's so freaking, it's a beast. But I've get 5-minute exposures with this thing, but I can get 5-minute exposures with this thing, and I can carry it out. It's nothing compared to this. So if you're in the market to move up from like a Star Tracker, a SkyGuider Pro, or something like that GTI, if you're wanting a bigger mount, I think I would have to go with this bad boy right here. They said at current prices as of today, I looked it up. This is $2,025. This is $2,300 with the tripod and the mount. Now, if you're running a refractor or something that's not really heavy, like a Schmidt Cassegrain, like a Celestron Edge 8 or 9.25 or 11 or something like that, you don't even need a counterweight. I ran my ED102 without a counterweight. It's like if nothing was on there. When I first got my Edge HD 8, the 8-inch, I was having trouble balancing it on this EQ6. I had to buy this counterweight for the front end of the scope, and I have to slide it back and forth to get it just right. I had to use both counterweights and this counterweight on the front end to get it balanced. It was taking me probably a good 10 minutes or so just to get it balanced on this thing. One of the positives about this, you don't really have to do that. You don't have to worry about balancing. You throw it on there. You know, you want to kind of eyeball it, and because you don't want it to be way off to where this thing tips over. And that's one of the reasons, you know, my Edge HD setup, I think it's like 21 pounds or something like that with the camera and the reducer and everything on there. So technically, by the specs, I don't have to have a counterweight on the AM5 with that thing, but I do it for stability because the weak point is this tripod. It's the base is not near as sturdy as this big boy right here, but I mean it's a pro and a con. But I've had no issues. I'll stick a counterweight in the sandbag and a counterweight on the AM5, and I just kind of I put my scope up flush right here, and it handles like a dream. Uh, you know, I like this mount, but this video is about this mount, and $2,300. You know, that's without the peer extension. $2,300 versus $2,025. Like I said, I was going to sell this thing. They were going like hotcakes on cloudy nights. But then once these came out, I noticed the price started to drop. So I kind of feel with shipping and everything, I'd take a loss. So but if I ever, you know, one day hopefully have a nice fenced-in backyard or something where I can set this thing up permanently, you know, I'm going to keep it because I like it. I love this thing. It's great. It's just so heavy to freaking transport. So, yeah, that's the size comparison between the EQ6 and the AM5, and they have the same payload capacity. This is a beast. This is a beast. So that's my general review of the ZWO AM5 strain wave mount. Like I said, I'm going to do it. This one's going to be really long, I'm sure. So I'm going to do a separate video on setting up. But after using this thing for the past few months, this is my favorite mount I've ever owned. You know, I started with the Skygetter Pro, and then I got the EQ6R. I bought the GTI for a quick setup on weeknights, and this one is just as fast as the GTI as far as setup goes. Yes, it's pricey. Like I said, total with the peer extension was almost $2,500, but the ease of setup and the time it takes me to set up it's worth it to me. Now I'm on another spending hiatus. I'm not buying anything else for a while. I've got to recoup after this. But I've been setting this and the GTI up. I run my little small scopes on the GTI. I've been running my Edge HD. I'm going to share some images that I've been getting at the end of this video. And yeah, man, it works. It is pricey, but it's by far my favorite mount I've ever owned so far. Now, they are coming out with the AM3, so you could shave a few $100s off of this price point. And I wrote that down. The AM3 has the head itself is 8.5 pounds, so it's a few pounds lighter than this, and it carries 28 pounds, 17 and a half pounds without a counterweight. So that's going to be most decent sized refractors, and then 28 pounds, 28 and a half pounds with the counterweight, and that's on the AM3, and it's going to be $1,500. I believe that's just for the head. So you add the tripod, that's another $300. It's going to be $1,800. And then you throw this thing in there. This is $169. So it's on the pricey side, but for the amount of images I've been able to get, I'm on a new schedule now. That's why I haven't been making many videos. I'm working banker hours and I don't like them. So hopefully I'm going to be able to change that in a few months. I'm getting tired when it gets dark and going to bed when it gets dark in the summertime. It's not fun. But anyways, that's my general overview of the AM5. Uh, Setting up, the comparison with the EQ6R and this mount is just the actual, the setup time is significantly faster with this. I was having to take about 10 minutes just to balance my edge on the EQ6R. I put it in the saddle here, and I put the counterweight here and the counterweight in the tray, and then I'm ready to polar line. It's so fast. And if you're in a similar situation like me where you have to set up and tear down each time you image, this thing right here, my back loves this thing. It's awesome. Oh yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna do another video on actually setting it up and running it. I don't know when that'll be. Uh, right now it's 100 degrees outside. Mosquitoes are in full effect. It's humid, and I just wanted to, do a review. I've been using this thing for the past few months, and it's an absolute joy. Uh, some people will post that they're getting like 0.0004 guiding total RMS, whatever. I've gotten good numbers with this thing, but to me, honestly, as long as my stars are around and it's not trailing, I'm happy with it. But I've been getting good guiding numbers, mostly better than the EQ6R, but balancing the Edge HD on that thing is a chore. And like I said, I had to buy that extra counterweight for the front of the scope, and just getting it perfectly balanced is really time consuming. And with these strain wave mounts, you don't have to worry about that as much. Like I said, I get it, kind of to the balance point where I think it is, and then it's ready to go. And that shaved off so much time. I can carry it out as fully assembled. I extend the legs outside. I slap the counterweights on. I slap my scope on, and then I'm ready to polar line. And it sped up my imaging, and I'm ready for it to start getting dark again before 10 o'clock. But that'll be here before you know it. So that's my review on this thing. If you're looking to move into a bigger mount, and definitely take this one into consideration. It has a lot of positives. It has a few negatives, but one of the biggest things is if you're used to actually using the polar scope to polar line, you're going to have to use some kind of software with this thing because you have no polar scope. So with that said, as usual, I'm going to give this thing 2 thumbs up. So that's my review on the ZWO AM5 strain wave mount. I got some yapping cats in the background, so I'm going to wrap this thing up. Also, I'd like to thank all my subscribers. Thanks for sticking around. My videos aren't going to be coming out, at a normal, pace. Not as often as I wish I could, but I'm going to, try to do these as often as I can. So, if you're watching this, if you could hit the like button, subscribe, and help me out a little bit. And because I'm ready to retire. Work sucks. Peace.